In this video, we're visiting Olden, Norway for some beautiful kayaking through the fjords. We're going to take the Loen Skylift, the steepest skylift in Europe, all the way up top there, enjoy some absolutely beautiful views, beautiful colors, do some impromptu ziplining across the fjords. That was kind of neat. And I don't know, maybe we'll even go for a swim.
Oh my God!
And then at the end, we'll go over what we might be interested in doing next time and cover some tips if you're looking to travel to Olden. Good morning. We are here in Olden, Norway, the very first stop on our 7-night Norwegian Fjord cruise on board Disney Fantasy. Left from Southampton. It is a bit early, so hopefully these views get a little bit better. Olden, Norway is a small town. In fact, I think I'm looking at most of it right now. A little over 600, between 600 and 700 people. We're going to start our day with a kayaking excursion, just kayaking the fjords, which sounds amazing. And maybe kind of cold. We start our journey right next to where the ship docks, and at the beginning we stay together, close together, to practice some maneuvers and get additional instruction from the guide. Coming up to this bend over here toward the village of Loen, which is where we'll be checking out a skylift later up to the top. Every so often, George, the guide, would stop us and bring everyone together to discuss local flora and fauna, interesting facts about the region. So it wasn't just a kayak trip, but you had a guided tour as well. If you're wondering if I made Audrey do all the paddling, I was steering. I was steering. While it wasn't a bright and sunny day, a lot of the fog did burn off after just a bit, and we got to enjoy some beautiful colors of the surrounding landscape. And while the sights were beautiful, the quiet was really remarkable. Well, that was a lot of fun walking back to the ship now. Audrey needs to change. I mean, I'll probably change, got a little damp on the kayak, but Audrey jumped in the fjord. I did it. It was wonderful. On purpose. I swam in the fjord. I'm doing this. I'm terrified. Okay, I'm going.
What the hell?
Oh my God!
I swim in Norway! It's not that bad.
Oh,
I mean, it's very cold, but I thought I would be way colder coming out.
Yeah, I did not, and I'm very comfy. Well, that was fun for me to watch.
Very refreshing.
So, because Audrey didn't plan on jumping in the water, we didn't have a towel, so we ran back to the ship and, of course, got in back of a slow group at security and then waited for an elevator, and then we get to the stateroom and the stateroom attendant was in there cleaning.
So, I wasn't cold at all. It was absolutely fine. I was in no rush whatsoever.
We may have asked him nicely if he could come back. So took a quick shower, changed clothes, and we're getting a very quick bite. It is noon now. All aboard is 5. So now, after we eat, Cabana's opening in just a matter of moments, we can go explore a little bit, and I think we're going to take the Loen Skylift
Yes.
up to the top of the mountain.
We're going to hike around there.
That kayak excursion, by the way, that was not through DCL. I think I booked it through TripAdvisor. I'll put a link to wherever I booked that. George, the guide, was fantastic. He was actually Czech, but he's lived here for about 4 years. And he was great. The whole tour was great. They let us go around the back of the ship to get a picture with Dumbo on the stern. That was neat. But a fantastic excursion. Really great, despite the rain.
Sights, yeah.
Dress for it and you'll be okay. Getting a quick bite with a view. We've just boarded a shuttle bus to head to the Loen Skylift to go up to the top of a mountain. I hear the views are spectacular. Our initial plan was to take a public bus there for a couple of dollars and then purchase the Skylift tickets once there. However, it turns out that after September 15th, according to the public bus time schedules, the buses only run in the morning and in the afternoon for school kids. So for about 90 US, we purchased per person tickets that include the Skylift, which is already 60 or 70, and round-trip shuttle bus that runs every 15 minutes. It's only about a 5-minute ride, so looking forward to checking it out. We have arrived to the base of the Skylift. You can see the guy wires there and one of the gondolas going all the way to the top. Beautiful views even just from here, though. We are underway. I believe they said it's the steepest skylift in Europe. You can see the ship way down there. And we're at the top. That was indeed steep, but quick. It only took a couple minutes. There's a restaurant and cafe, and I believe to Audrey that's a swimming pool. It is considerably colder up here at the top, so make sure you dress for it. I don't know what the actual temperature is, but it's chilly. We're just walking on one of the paved trails right now for some pretty views. And that is beautiful. The colors down there are amazing. The way the light is hitting, and that's just gorgeous. That blue, I don't know if it comes through on the video. They have this neat area here where you stand in the center and the outline on the glass lines up so that you can see what you're looking at. Well, this was not in the plans, but there's a zip line up here, so we're gonna do it. And it's a little over 1,000 meters. I want to say 1,011 meters up. And the zip line itself, I think it's at 125 meters across. So it costs around 65 US per person. But when else am I going to have the opportunity? Looks like there are trails. You can go quite a ways up from here. There's somebody going now. It is quite the journey to get to where you start the zip line from. It's kind of a steep cinder kind of trail here, and then you've got all those stairs. Stepping on.
On the way. Fast the rope. There we are. Carabin in front of you. Double securing.
did both zip lines, and really fantastic views. I don't know if it comes out in the pictures, but you've got quite a drop below you. I don't know, several hundred feet at least. And then you've got the beautiful fjord views here. Very, very cool. And I will now, since I can't feel my fingers, go for perhaps some hot tea or something like that, and maybe a little snack up here at the top of the lift before heading back down. Absolutely beautiful with that light coming through. That's gorgeous. Gonna get a hot drink, but want to share something interesting that just happened. A woman came up asking about the zip line, and then she stopped and said, "You look familiar. I think I've met you before." And I said, "Well, do you watch cruise videos?" And she said, "Yes, I must have seen some of your videos." I said, "Oh," I said, "Well, it was either that or you live in South Florida." And she was Brazilian, so I thought there was a chance. She said, "I do live in South Florida." I said, "Well, I live in Boca." She says, "I live in Boca Raton." And while they're not even on the cruise, they are taking a van trip around Norway. So hello to Isabella and Marcos, I believe. Yes. Send me a message. I want to hear about the rest of your van trip. Oh, Audrey, that's why you don't put them in the dryer. It's the little cafe and gift shop. And if you want to save about $20 US, just send me your own picture that you took up here, and I'll cut it into a bunch of pieces. After warming up with some coffee and a little snack, we're getting ready to head back. You can see one of the cabs, one of the gondolas is already up top. So just waiting to make that move and head down, and we'll see if my dad will be able to get a spot near the window. Like all the views are excellent once you're inside, but it's remarkable how steep it is on the way up and down. Ship's down there. Time to load up. We're heading down, and the first part is quite steep. But beautiful view still. It's varied throughout the day when we're on the kayak and when we came up and walking around the zip line, the rain and cloud cover. So we really lucked out that it started to clear toward the end of our kayak, and when we were doing the zip line, it was reasonably clear. We're back on board Disney Fantasy, but far from out of Olden. I'll explain. Our original itinerary was such that yesterday, which ended up being a sea day, we're supposed to be cruising through the fjords on the way here during the daytime, kind of like Alaskan cruises often have glacier days, either Glacier Bay or Icy Strait, various areas. Well, because of weather, when we were leaving Southampton at the beginning, we couldn't do that. But the good news is we're going to be able to see as we sail through the fjords leaving here. All aboard is at 5 o'clock. I would suspect we'll be on our way sometime around 5:30, and looking forward to 4 or 5 hours of sailing through the fjords, which I 20 years ago did this on Cunard and remember it being gorgeous. So really excited to capture that.
Something to keep in mind if you happen to be on whether it's Dream Class ship from Disney or this could be on a number of other ships. We had a guarantee, so we got assigned this room. We're actually happy with the location, but because you have this part that sticks out, when you're in a mountainous area, you might not be able to see the tops, depending on the angle and how close you are to land. I think I'd be perfectly happy with the situation in the Caribbean, for example, but worth noting for this area, we'll come back there.
I wanted to come up to Satellite Falls, an adult area only on a top deck all the way forward, see what the views were like. I should have taken a video. I took a picture. I'll see if I can edit that in. And the views are spectacular. It's raining a little bit though, so you probably don't want to sit there, but there are some seats around the forward area if you want. And in fact, Satellite Falls is heated and the deluge part is off. So you can even, if you want, take off your shoes and put your feet in some warmish water. I don't know, we'll see what Audrey wants to do. I'm looking forward to some more of these views as we sail toward the open ocean. The fjords should narrow and it should be, I mean, this is beautiful, but it should be more spectacular. I remember when I came here 20 years ago that there were just endless waterfall pictures in our collection. But some of them really are impressive. Look at how gorgeous that is. No, Audrey, you can't swim over there and see it. We came up to Meridian for a little while. That's the adults-only bar located between Palo and Remy, all the way aft on deck 12. And they have indoors, they're seating with very nice views, but there are a lot of folks out there. But outdoors, it's one side smoking, one side's non, but you can kind of come between the two and get a nice panoramic view. It's a little bit of rain, but we found some covered area. I also noticed we're actually going under power lines right now. They're high tension lines stretched across the fjord. Little town over there as we come out of this section of the fjords, and small vessel there. I've noticed, I don't know if that's a drive on, drive off. I noticed a few of those, which makes sense because if your closest neighbors may be just across the fjord, but there's not an easy way to get there. There's a town off in the distance over there. It's called Nordfjordet. We came from off to the right. I just see the little towns here and wonder what those folks' lives are like. We did ask to see if we could sit at Palo outside right behind us, but we didn't have a reservation. They said, well, let me see, we're busy, but let me check. And they were very, very nice. And they said, no, unfortunately, not tonight. But we have a reservation now for the day we're in Stavanger. So looking forward to that. And right now, just taking in the views before it gets too dark and before we go to dinner over at Animator's Palate. I should mention that if you want to know more about cruising Disney Cruise Line specifically, just a few months ago, we sailed Disney Dream, sister ship to this, in the Caribbean for a 5-nighter, and did a 2-part vlog covering all the parts of the cruise. So the process and how Disney works is probably a little better covered in that video. That said, tonight we're going to Animator's Palate, and that's one of 3 rotational dining restaurants. And what Disney does in addition to the specialty restaurants is you change between one of the 3 restaurants each night, but your servers change along with you, so you have the same wait staff, but a different menu and different atmosphere and ambiance, and a different show in some cases. We have arrived. Also, it's Pirate Night, and there's one night a week on Disney ships, Disney cruises, that has a pirate theme, and there's a pirate show. I don't remember how that works when you're in Animator's Palate, and there's otherwise other show elements, so we'll find out. So even though it's Pirate Night, instead of the pirate menu, they have the frozen menu, but they're not doing Frozen Night on Norway. I don't know why that decision, but the frozen menu I actually really like. It's similar to the menu on in Arendelle on Disney Wish. So I'm starting out with Gravlax. I also had a cheese tart, not pictured here, and this is a carrot soup. Like I said, I like the menu tonight, so I got a couple extra things. I almost ordered 2 mains. I started digging in before filming, but I went with a salmon that is, I was a little hesitant because there's often salmon on the menu, but this is especially good. I again had trouble making a decision. So I got an extra dessert. Raspberry and chocolate I'm a sucker for. This, I read the description and they called it a Panacaken. Just walking around the ship now, and with it being Pirate Night, the characters are all in their pirate regalia. There's a deck party, which we showed in the Dream video that I mentioned, but because of the weather tonight, it was actually moved into the atrium. That happened a while ago. So right now we're just trying to figure out if we're gonna head over to Europa, which is the adult-only area, for a little bit this evening, or if we are just spent after a long day and eating too much and we're going to turn in. Don't know yet. We came over to Europa. We're both tired, as you can tell by Audrey dancing. We're both tired, but we're also so full we don't want to go to bed yet. But then we thought, what if we head back over to Meridian, the bar we were at earlier watching the fjords. It's dark now, won't be able to see, but there's a little bit of motion now that we're in the open water, and going up high would be nice for that. Well, we were going to go to Meridian. There's a beverage seminar going on in there right now, so it's closed to guests not in that seminar. You can walk through there, order a drink, but we just wanted to sit and relax. We could sit outside, and it's actually not that cool right now, but we didn't have jackets with us, so we just came back to the room. There's a nice rocking, which I know some people are unhappy about on board, but we both like knowing we're on a ship. We got some tea, stopped at Cabanas, the buffet venue, grabbed tea, and I think just going to call it an early night because tomorrow we are in Ålesund, Norway, our second port of call on this Norwegian Fjord cruise. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can check out that video when we publish it as well as all of our others from multiple cruise lines, not just Disney, multiple places in the world. And big thanks also to Touring and Cruises. They help plan all of our trips, handle all of our travel, and they help support the channel. You can help support the channel by checking them out as well. That's going to be it for tonight. Gonna just enjoy the rocking and some tea and the sound of the waves. Ooh, I forgot about that. Disney ships put lights in the water. I think that looks cool. All right. I hope you've enjoyed watching traveling to Olden, Norway with us so far. This is almost the end of the video, but we realized there are some things that we didn't get to cover. Bye, Tech. We realized there are some things we didn't get to cover, failed to mention. A couple little corrections issued here, just minor things, and wanted to go deeper into some of the details around the tours, as well as talk about what we would do if we were to go back again. So we'll make this quick. First of all, the Kayak Tour. We ended up booking this through TripAdvisor. I usually book through Viator. I share those links a lot because I think Viator does a really great job. They're actually, I believe, owned by the same company. I think I just screwed up and put the wrong date in Viator. So we did that. But if you see a similar tour in Viator, it's probably that. And it was $100 per person, roughly. All these prices they were in kroner, so they're converted over, even if it says US dollars. So you may see some variation whenever we talked about prices. And it was, you thought about 2 hours? I was not paying attention.
Yeah, close to that. We ended up pretty lucky with that, given our sailing was one of the last of the season, so the bookings were not full. Our guide was therefore more than happy to let us roam around a little bit and enjoy our kayaking probably more than we could have otherwise.
That's why George let us kayak to the end of the ship and get a picture with Dumbo.
There you go, which we appreciated quite a bit. So
absolutely.
Big highlight though. I really, really liked it, especially because you don't have to be in such a drastic shape or a drastic athlete to be able to go through that tour.
And even if you've never kayaked before.
No, it's
a real
steady.
stable kayak. Like, I don't think I could tip it if I tried. It was very, very stable.
And even if you did, the water isn't that bad.
Agree to disagree. So yeah, you don't need to be in good shape. No kayaking experience needed. $100, 2 hours, $100 per person. That was a great tour. Just make sure you dress warm and dress waterproof. I don't mean impermeable. If you sit in water, you're going to get wet. You may not sit in water, but you just don't want to wear anything that's going to get ruined or have anything on you that's going to get ruined if it gets wet. There are two-person kayaks, but you can absolutely go just as one. We had a solo traveler on ours, and she took out a two-person kayak. I don't think it really made a difference in either way. So that was great. You meet right by the ship. I loved everything about that.
Yep.
The fact that you met right by the ship also meant even if you didn't jump in the fjords, you could.
If you were wet, easy enough to go and get changed.
Yep. The cat just jumped on a giraffe. Hang on. You little monster. All right, I assure you that made sense. Here, that made sense. There's a giraffe. It's fine. Loen Skylift. So after
Another good
that,
highlight. Yeah.
it was easy, beautiful views, and there were a lot of options. So getting there, it's only like a mile and a half. It's real close. You could walk. You probably don't want to.
Some people do. Yeah. It takes up a little bit more of your time through the day, so you want to plan out stuff properly. But it's absolutely feasible.
So we paid around $90 per person for the Skylift and transportation. Their own buses back and forth continuously. It's $20 or $30 cheaper per person if you don't include transport. Thing is, we were there end of season, second to last ship, so like there were no Ubers. The public buses weren't running. If you went mid-season, if we were to go again in June or something, I'd probably just take the bus and save a few bucks. Why not? And hey, public transport, love it. Keep that in mind. It runs the Skylift itself runs at least every 30 minutes in each direction. That's what they say. I don't know why it's faster sometimes. The wind, whatever. So just know that as you're timing stuff out. Oh, I only want to go up there for 40 minutes. Well, you're going to go up there for a minimum 60 minutes or however you interval it, you know what I mean. So keep that in mind. There are a bunch of hiking trails up there that we briefly visited.
Yeah. We actually chose to go later in the day, which worked out perfectly given how foggy it was in the morning. So if you're able to wait a little bit to go and see hindsight, you might have actually better views if the weather gets to clear out a little bit. Seems like it might be a fairly regular pattern. That being said, it's weather dependent.
Yeah, we can't promise anything, but I know in Alaska, I've noticed from each time in Alaska, in the morning it's foggier, and that makes sense. It's most places. So keep that in mind because you don't want to go up just to look down and be like, well,
not
cool,
it's
much. Gray. Yeah. You can, while you're up there, you can have a full meal. There's a little, not only a cafe that we visit, but there's an entire restaurant.
Yeah. And it's really about planning ahead for your day, because if you do plan to go hiking more, once you reach the top, there's a bunch of different trails, different levels, options. You can get to higher summits still. So it might very well be worth it to go in early in the morning. It's really about what you choose to do.
And another thing you can choose to do that we spontaneously did was ziplining.
That was great.
That was around $65 US per person. And you get two times out of that. Each is around 120 meters, 125 meters. It goes by quick, but that's any zip line. So yeah, it's a little pricey, but man, those views, it was really cool.
The views are hard to beat. They were pretty fantastic.
Do keep in mind that you probably need to be in better shape for the zip line than the kayaks because of the walk between them and at the end.
Yeah.
The very uneven trails, some like stone stairs that were very steep, and that was you don't, not that you have to be a marathoner.
It's not a long route by any stretch, but yeah, any knee inconvenience may become more of an issue than you expected.
Also, issuing a minor correction at this point, we ran in the video you saw, we ran into Isabel and Marcos, and I think I might have said one of their names wrong. Sorry about that. Hi, guys. Let me know how the rest of your trip went. We're curious.
Yeah. Which is also one of the things you might be able to do in Olden. It's not something we looked into that much, but if you go to campgrounds, that looks like beautiful spots to visit around lakes, beautiful views as well, which are more on the sea level, but probably worth looking into.
Yep. Way to make lemonade out of lemons if you miss the ship or something. Don't miss the ship. Now, other things that we'd consider doing if they're on a cruise again, and who knows, maybe we will be. Really, there's only one thing, because there's a couple shops right by the port, which we walk through, and they're fine. It's not a big shopping destination. The only other thing that I noticed was the Glacier, and we forgot to note the name of the glacier. The
one in Olden.
This is where I awkwardly dub it, the Briksdal Glacier. But it's the one that you're going to see on Viator, through the cruise line, excursions, all of that. Very loud cat. There are a couple ways you can go do that. You can't walk to the glacier. You'll need to take a bus or a car or whatever. And then there are two options from there. You can either
hike your way to the glacier,
which is like I think 30 minutes roughly. I don't know,
I think it 20, was longer than that.
Okay, maybe it was 40 minutes something. It was a decent walk. You can shorten that a little by paying more and taking what they call troll cars, which are these little electronic carts that guides drive you in. to get you more of the way there. It looked gorgeous. If we had
Absolutely.
time to have done that also, we talked about it. Can we do all 3 of these things? It would have been real tight though. And we definitely wouldn't have got to go ziplining. So, you know.
There you go. So it's really about making up your mind as to what your priority might be. Hiking looks absolutely lovely. So if you're into that, it might absolutely be worth your time. It's really just about, you know, choosing your priority, your activities. Yeah.
And maybe, you know what, maybe you end up making a last minute call based on the weather or just how you feel that day. And that's okay.
Pretty much what we did the whole trip.
Yep. But we'll do that next time because I'm ready to go back.
Sure, anytime.
Appreciate you watching. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell, that whole thing. Check out our friends and partners over at Touring and Cruises. Let us know what you think. Truly, like I realize so much of what I cover on the channel is Caribbean cruising and a little bit of Alaska. I want to do more and more different stuff. I'm curious if you do. What do you think about Norway so far? We've got more videos coming out with more destinations in Norway and elsewhere, so stay tuned. Thanks, guys.